Hello, in this video we'll be doing a Chromebook comparison of the Asus CX1100 and the Acer 311 C722. Both of these Chromebooks are budget Chromebooks, so they are really to use basic stuff such as surfing the internet, streaming on YouTube, word processing, spreadsheets, basic Android apps, stuff like that. So they're not really something you'd want to use if you want to use Linux or even really advanced Android apps with a touchscreen. These aren't the things for you. Both of these Chromebooks are for someone who wants a cheap laptop to mainly surf the internet, also be able to take advantage of other things you can do on the internet, such as word processors, spreadsheets and stuff like that. So let's have a look then. So we've got the Asus CX1100 and the Acer 311 C722. So first of all, let's take a look at the build quality. So the build quality, weight wise, the Acer 311 is slightly lighter, but marginal. It's hardly any difference, so no big difference there. Thickness, the Asus CX1100 is thinner, and I do like that. Obviously everybody wants a nice thin laptop. I've got the Acer 311 which I use casually, and it is a bit thick, so it's nice to see that the Acer CX is a bit thinner. So they're both laptops, so that means neither of these can be used as a hybrid where you can swap the display around and use it as a tablet as well. So if you're looking for one of them, neither of these are for you. They're both laptops. And when it comes to width, there's hardly any difference in them, if I'm being honest with you, so roughly the same. But looks wise, I would say that the Asus is nicer looking. It depends on what you're looking for, whether you like the aluminium look as well, although they're both plastic, or whether you like that silver aluminium look or the dark look of the Acer 311. But the Asus, because it's thinner, it is a bit slicker looking. So then we look at the display. Both of them are 11.6 inches and both of them have standard definition. Now you wouldn't expect anything more than standard definition when you're spending the amount of money that these cost. We'll go on to how much they are later, but any budget Chromebook, you wouldn't get full HD on an 11.6 inch display, so that's nothing really to worry about. Also SD standard definition looks fine on an 11.6 inch display, so that's nothing really to be too concerned about. TN panel on both. TN panels aren't fantastic, but then you've got to consider the price that you're paying for. If you could get a laptop at this price with an IPS panel, I would always suggest going for an IPS panel because you get better viewing angles and you get more true to life vivid colors. With a TN panel, they're okay to use, but you can tell the difference. I will link a video in the description below which shows you the actual difference between an IPS and TN panel. But as I said, if you're looking for a cheap laptop, it's no big issue there. And then neither a touchscreen, which isn't a major concern, being that you can't use them as hybrid, but it does mean if you want to use Android apps, you would have to use your keyboard or your touch trackpad to use the apps, so you can't use touchscreen. Something to consider. When it comes to connectivity, the Asus has one USB type A and two USB type C, and the Acer has one USB type A and one USB type C, so you get an extra USB type C connection on the Asus. The USB type C is good because it's a more modern USB, and you can use it also to connect to an external display, so you can connect an external display to both of these laptops. It's good to see that both got a USB-A connection, which means you can also hook up old peripherals without any issues there. When it comes to keyboard, I couldn't really find much information on the Acer keyboard, so I just put solid keyboard, and it is a good keyboard. I've used it and I actually do write some blog posts on it, and I've not had any issues with it, so it's quite good. The Asus, it's 1.5mm key travel and it's spill resistant. When it's spill resistant, I think it's just referring to a few drops of water, not, you know, put a whole glass of water over it. I can't imagine it would survive. So I'm sure the keyboard on the Asus is decent enough. But yes, the Acer 311, I'm quite happy with the keyboard. It's obviously not fantastic, but it's not that bad at all really when you consider the price. And then battery hours, we've got that the Asus is 12 hours and the Acer is 15 hours. This is what the manufacturers state. Now it's possible, I don't know about the 12 hours, maybe go down to 11, 10. With the Acer 311, it is really good to battery life, but again, 15 hours, maybe not, maybe more 13, 12. Both are going to be good because they've both got small displays, both don't have massive processors, so they will last a long time, and that's all day. That is, you can even, I don't charge mine for a good 4 days if I'm using it every morning, for example, so they're fine with battery life, both of them. And then both have headphone jacks, neither have a micro SD slot, which is a bit of a shame. It would have been good if they did. Okay, so let's now have a look at the performance. There's only one configuration for them both. So the Asus comes with an Intel Celeron dual core processor, and the Acer 311 comes with a MediaTek octa-core processor. So I had to look into this because octa is 8, so you're thinking 8 cores, that must mean it's amazing performance. However, it's really not the case in this situation. The MediaTek processors are mainly for tablets, and the way an octa-core works with that MediaTek, it isn't meaning that the fact that it's got, although technically it has, don't expect that means that it's going to be much better in performance. When it does come to performance, having a look at different websites on benchmark, and the Acer 311 does appear to have better performance, but I'm sure the Intel Celeron dual core will perform as well. You need to bear in mind that both of these laptops are mainly for internet surfing, word processing, Android apps, stuff like that. Android apps for both of these, they'll be fine with basic Android apps. I can't imagine them being fantastic with really advanced Android apps, but they're okay for basic Android apps, and they'll be okay if you're just doing what you want. For a laptop to use just to surf the internet, they're both good. But obviously there's differences between these two, which we'll get onto later, and I think that would decide which one you would buy. So let's have a look. So 1.1 gigahertz, yeah, 2.4 gigahertz turbo, and Acer 1.6 gigahertz and 2 gigahertz turbo. Both have 4 GB of RAM, which is absolutely fine. You don't need any more for a laptop of this type. And 32 GB of storage, both eMMC. You wouldn't expect anything else. eMMC is just a cheap storage, but it's a actual chip, so there's no moving parts, which is good. So they'll both be fanless. 32 GB of storage. I think for these type of Chromebooks and what you can do on them, I think perfectly fine. I don't think it's an issue, the storage. Now, if we get on to the last part, this is which really changes which one you would go for, because looking at them both, I would, if I didn't know anything about them, I'd be attracted to the Asus because it looks nicer, it's thinner. Both have military standard certification, so they both can deal with a few knocks, bangs, a few falls, so they both have that, which is good. The main thing which is the difference is that the AUE date for the CX1100 is June 2024, and for the Acer 311 it's June 2028, so that's 4 years more of updates. And this, I had to look into this because the CX1100 has been started to be, you can get it in the USA, but I've also looked on UK websites, and it's come out as if the retailers are pushing it as if it's like a brand new Chromebook, and that people are buying it as well because you consider reviews, which is fine. But I wonder if they would do that if they realised that the AUE date was June 2024. I even looked on the Google website because there's quite a few of that actual model type, CX1100, and I could see nothing to suggest that this particular model had anything different than June 2024. There was one with June 2026, but looking at all the model numbers on Amazon and websites in the UK, none of them match that one. So it's either the retailers have got the models numbers wrong. If they have, they're going to not get many people buying them if they think they've got a bad AUE date. But from everything I can see, the Asus is June 2024 and the 311 is June 2028. And it does frustrate me that these retailers are still selling these Chromebooks, because the issue is that people will buy these thinking they're great, and in 3 years time, when they don't get any more updates, if that's the first ever Chromebook they've brought, they'd be like, oh, well, the Chromebooks are rubbish, I won't get one of them again. It's just such a stupid thing. And Google, first of all, need to sort out the AUE date problem, and retailers need to stop buying old laptops that are only going to last for a few years. So in relation to that, although the Asus may look better, I would go for the Acer 311, obviously because of the AUE date. It stands to sense that you would. In relation to price, the Asus CX in the USA, $205. Now bear in mind, these prices of what I've seen as of today as filming this, and the date is, I don't know, let's have a look. It's 21st of October 2021. So these are the prices, and they may be different at different retailers, but in the USA, $205 for the Asus, and for the Acer 311 in the USA, I found it for around $313.50. So it is a lot more expensive, the Acer 311 in the USA. So if you are looking for a cheap laptop and you're happy with the fact that you'll only get updates until June 2024, maybe that is a compromise you're willing to make because of the pricing difference. If you are tight on money at the moment, then yeah, that could be a compromise you're quite happy to do. If not, then obviously the 311. When it comes to UK prices, I find it quite scandalous that they sell the Asus for the same price of the Acer 311 when it's got 4 years of extra updates, and none of the retailers mention this, which I get to an extent. People, it's the same with mobile phones, Android phones. Retailers don't say how long they're going to get updates for, and it's sort of the same, but it's still an issue for me, and I'm sure it's an issue for everyone who's looking for a new laptop. So out of them both, I hope that helped. Personally speaking, although I like the look of the Asus, I would buy the Acer out of these two computers because of the AUE date. It's got updates until June 2028. I hope that helped. If it did, please like and subscribe to the channel for future videos, and thanks for watching.